Hi, Tia-Monet here, and Tina. Say hi, Tina. Oh, good girl, good girl. Okay, well, thank you so much for tuning in. I am the founder of Tia's World Enterprises, where in Tia's World we don't ever settle. And if you want more information, like I always say, click the link in the bio. It's summertime now, but it's about to be fall, and then it's winter, and you don't want to look the same, do you? I mean, why can't we have a summer body year round? Well, you can with the virtual Fat Blast Zumba class. Sign up for that. It'll be with me. It'll be so much fun, high energy, and something that you've probably never experienced before. I can guarantee it. Now, I have an Ask Tia forum, and someone asked, "How do you get over your past mistakes?" And that is a really good question. I can be completely candid when I say that I was the captain of a dance team and I was demoted from that dance team. And at the time I thought there's no way this is my fault. It's not my fault. I'm so upset, depressed. Where's my purpose? What am I going to do? All of that, all the above. But when I really had time to think about it and move on and realize that it led to some of the best things that could have ever happened to me, that loss, that failure, that defeat, that mistake I made, I realized that, you know what, I was responsible for it. I let it happen. And I'm also responsible for my future and what happens next. And I think that's the first step to moving on from a mistake, a failure, even a rejection. It happens to all of us. And honestly, you are still successful because someone who is a failure wouldn't have even tried. And there are people who might have laughed at you or might have thought you were just a joke or a laughing stock or a failure because of that mistake, but they're sitting on the couch laughing. And that's why I love Cardi B's clout verse, because she says, so when they see me, what are they going to do? Laugh on the couch, because that's all they do. They see you striving, they see you working, and because you're doing that, mistakes are going to happen. That means you're learning. But what those people don't realize is that because they haven't tried anything, because they're probably too scared or just haven't realized their own dreams yet, that they just see the failure sometimes. Sometimes it's hard to fail in private. I know for me, when I did Miss Virginia, I wanted to win. I wanted that crown so bad. And I made it to the top 10 on my first try, which is great, but it's not the crown. And to a lot of people, that's still losing. To me, I mean, it is. It is losing. And I made it to the top 10, but I wanted to make it to the top number 1. So I lost, and that's okay. But because there was no way I could have been quiet about that, we had to constantly publicize that we were doing this. There were so many people watching. I felt as if so many people, my supporters and my haters, all saw me lose. And that was very hurtful to me. But a lot of people did not have the guts to try. A lot of people have dreams and desires in their hearts, but that they would never dare try because they're afraid of that failure. So not being afraid to fail is already success, because like I said, there's about at least 80% of people that just wouldn't even want to try. They just want to be comfortable. So the fact that you're willing to make yourself uncomfortable and make mistakes means that you're learning and you're putting yourself in a better position to win. Failures and mistakes happen. Les Brown, I used to hate it when he said this, but he makes everyone who listens to him chant, "I will fail my way to success." And I would never say it because I didn't want to. I didn't want to fail my way to success. I want to win my way to success. I mean, don't we all? But as the failure started happening, as I was trying to go after my success, I started chanting it too. I'm going to fail my way to success, because I'm like, this is just one more failure, still a step on my ladder to success, you know? So I'm not going to get too much into the details of what happened during my period of that mistake and that failure, but I just know that it was really hard for me to get over, and it was really hard to forgive myself and a few other people who were key players in everything that happened. And I realized that when I was able to actually heal and forgive myself for things that happened, I promise you it'll feel like 100 pounds have been lifted off of you. And you will walk a little bit closer into your desire, into your success, into your goal, whatever it is that you want. I promise. So another way that you can move on from that mistake and that rejection is and this will take time, give it time. But I would say maybe a couple months later, or however you feel about it, writing out what happened. Or maybe not writing out what happened, but just writing out how you could have been responsible. Because sometimes not blaming ourselves, no self-depreciation here. Or is it self-deprecation? Whatever that word is, none of that. You're not going to put yourself down. But writing out how you're responsible. Because when we realize that we're responsible, it leads to accountability, and it leads to us taking power back over the situation. Because some things happen to us, right? And then that makes us the victim. Why are you biting me? Get off me. Okay. Certain things happen, we think it just happens to us, and these people just mistreated us and they did this to us, and it puts all of the power on them and it makes us the victim. I like to take some, if not all of that power back and say, you know what, I allowed this to happen. I let this happen because of maybe my mishap here, my negligence here, or my failure to do this, or maybe I didn't communicate as effectively as I thought I did. Now I know. Now I'm even stronger going into my next leadership position, because you know what? You're darn skippy. I am going to have another leadership position, and I did. I had even more after that. So that didn't mean that just because I was the captain of a dance team and I was demoted, that didn't mean I could never do anything ever again. In fact, once I recovered from that, once I realized where I went wrong, and really once I forgave myself, and I'll say how we can actually specifically do that, but once I forgave myself, I ran into so many more opportunities to lead people, to lead people's kids. And I mean, that's even more, of a liability. I mean, you have to be trusted to do that. None of that mattered. And sometimes the only people who judge us by our past is ourselves. But sometimes there are people who only want to see our past. They only want to see the mistakes we made. They don't want to see us be great. every time we come back around, they just want to be like, oh, that's the girl. That's the girl who did that. Blah, 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 blah. Like, whatever. Screw them. Why do they have any real estate in our mind? Why? And why are you in their mind? Why are you thinking about how they think about you? Honestly, and I know it's real a lot easier said than done. It really is. Trust me, I know. But it doesn't make your business any stronger. It won't lead to any more clients for you. It won't lead to any more leads. It won't lead to a raise or a bonus. Thinking about how someone else is going to view you. However, if you do, that can be one of your motivators to wake up at 5 a.m. and go chase whatever bag you're chasing after. Because you know what? Sometimes if you just paint your own new narrative, well, you know what? These people, they viewed me by my past mistake. So you know what? I'm going to wake up and grind consistently so that I can show up next time they see me a whole different person. So that, you know what? They can still try and view me this way if they want to, but the results don't lie, baby. I'm here. I did it. I worked for it. I got it. And I came back bigger, better, and stronger. It really doesn't always matter what the motivation is, as long as there is a motivation to get better. So whatever goal you have, if it's, you know what, I want to show these people that I'm a new person. I'm different. I'm not the same person who I was when I made that mistake. Well, then fine. Use that as your motivation to be this new person, bigger, better, stronger than you were before, more successful. Because eventually they're going to have no choice but to view you as the person. And some people will just forever be committed to misunderstanding you. They're haters. That's cool. That's fine. Leave them be. Stay out of their minds and don't let them take up any more space in yours. If you're really focused on your goal, that should be what you're focused on. And now we have to take conscious realization of our subconscious. So now when your mind does wander and you're like, oh man, they're talking about me. They said this about me. They think this about me. It's going to be weird. Now snatch yourself back into where you want to be and think about that goal. Anytime you're thinking, oh man, I wonder what this person thinks about me. Let me go read a book. Let me go read 5 pages. That's it. I bet you won't be concerned anymore. Hopefully that book will give you a new idea on what to do better with your life so that you're not focused on those people. I used to do the same thing. Anytime I was thinking about something other than something that benefited me, let me go read a book. If I'm on Instagram too long, close, let me go read a book. If I'm just doing anything that's not a self-serving behavior, let me go write to somebody. Let me go make a postcard. Let me go make a flyer. Just doing something that will serve you later. that will help rid your mind of what you think everyone else is thinking about you. It's a process. I don't really like it when people say, oh, well, just don't care about what people think, because, oh, bippity boppity boo, it's gone. I no longer care what people think about me. I'm healed. No, that's not really how it works. Just like someone can't say, well, just don't be anxious. Don't have anxiety. Unfortunately, that's not how anxiety works. It's the same way. These are going to take conscious realizations of what has been unfortunately implanted into our subconscious. It's going to take time and effort, but it is possible, and it's possible to rise above, and it's possible to just make yourself proud, but you have to let go of yesterday. We cannot drive our car looking in the rear view mirror. You're going to crash and burn. And you know what? I don't know who or what you believe in, but I believe in God, and He does not judge my yesterday. He does not even judge my 5 minutes ago. And that helped me to not be so critical of others and to not be so critical of myself. Sometimes as dancers, we unfortunately have that, where we just are sort of perfectionists, and if we make a mistake, it's the worst thing ever. And we care about what people think about us, because if you're a competitive dancer, you're kind of groomed into caring about what people think about you. You're competing every weekend. It matters what they think about you. It just does. But it's important to know when to turn that on and off, because sometimes competition is healthy, but it becomes unhealthy when we just take that competition mindset into every aspect of our lives, because that's just not it at all. And you just cannot live a healthy life and care about what other people think. And I just know it's really hard, because I've been there, and I'm still there sometimes. But honestly, I'm becoming a lot better at just not giving an FUCK. I read the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an FUCK by Mel Manson. There's also a podcast that I loved. It cracked me up. And I want to say it's called the bad BITCH, just because I don't know how old people are listening to this, but it's the Bad Bitch podcast. I think that's what it's called. I'm looking it up right now. Is that what it's called? Oh, is it? Okay, it's Bad Bitch Radio. She's amazing. She's so good. She's so great. Oh my goodness. I feel like I know her when I listen to her. Like, I feel like I want to go out to coffee or drinks with her. She's great. Listen to it. And she has a podcast just simply about not caring what other people think. And it's so freeing. Honestly, I want to give away what she says because it's so funny. Some of her stories are just so good, but I urge you to listen to her. The other part is forgiving yourself. And we do that by saying it out loud and writing it down. Because something happens when we write stuff down. It just kind of absorbs into our subconscious a little bit better. Yeah. And then when we say it out loud, it's just that reassurance, the audible reassurance that we need. So I'd say, Tia, I forgive me for insert mistake here, and I release any further judgments or critical views of my past. And I take a deep breath in, and I am literally breathing in peace and joy and just hope for my future. I take a huge deep breath in, maybe count to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, deep breath in through your nose, belly gets a little inflated here. Hold it for 5 seconds, holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slow 5. Breathe out, right, through your mouth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it for 5. And then write it down, but actually mean it. Have intention and see how different you feel after. And if you don't feel different, well, that means that you might want to figure out what exactly you're still harboring against yourself or against the situation in general, because that just means that you really didn't release yourself from it and that you will still be in chains, basically. You'll be enslaved to your past, and who wants to live that way? That's no way to live at all. Don't do it to yourself. It's just not worth it. If you were chosen to wake up another day, do you really think that it really makes sense to live as if you were still a slave to yesterday? What sense does that make? There are people who really died in their sleep. I hate to say it, but they did. There are people who didn't wake up. And you think that someone perfectly healthy like you still woke up this morning? No. it was just their time to go. So if you really had the privilege of waking up this morning, why wouldn't you live today as if it was your last? And if you're living your life as if it's your last, why would you care about the mistake you made yesterday? You're gonna die anyway. It don't matter. Repent for it if you did something wrong. Forgive yourself because God has already forgiven you. And forgive those involved. And actually try and send them love. And if you can't yet, reach out to them and just send them a kind thought. Write down kind things about them. And I don't mean, oh, well, she looks good. I mean actual genuine things beyond the surface that you know about them. Because you have to know them in order for it to really hurt you, you know? So, you know what? I don't agree with how she treated me, but she's a good businesswoman. She does what she feels is best for her business, or whatever it could be. Write down 3 things for the people involved, and it will just help you feel lighter. Because sometimes God does show us the dirt in people, but he also gives us grace and mercy to see the gold in them as well. And I got a lot of dirt, and I just pray, and I'm so thankful for the people who love me. And I pray that everyone else can just see and find the gold in me as well. And honestly, when you look for the best in others, you bring out the best in yourself. I don't want to judge anyone else because I don't want to be judged. And I have been before because I have been unknowingly critical of other people. And when I realized that, wow, I was making those closest to me feel as if they're walking on eggshells, that they can't even be human. Because I'm going to be so critical of them, not realizing that, dang, there's about 3 fingers pointing back at me too. So keep all of that in mind. And I just think that having grace and mercy with yourself first will allow you to extend that same grace and mercy toward others. Or it may be vice versa. It might be that when you have grace and mercy toward others and see, well, what they did was really foul, but I see why. She really had to cover up for herself. She couldn't have what she did exposed. And I thank God that sometimes he didn't expose my mess ups either. We all have a time. That's the thing about politics. It works for us at some point. It doesn't, like in some form, in some area, in some way, shape, or form, it's going to work for us. You're going to know someone and you're going to get that opportunity, no matter how big or small, that someone more qualified should have gotten. It happens. So how mad can we really be when it was just somebody else's time and the politics just happened to work out for them that time? Doesn't mean your time's not ever coming, and doesn't mean that you're bound by your past. It just means it wasn't your time. But your time is coming, so really, really think about that. I promise you, it's true. Like, if you really think about it, and it's uncomfortable, but I'd rather take a really uncomfortable moment for a lifetime ahead full of thrilling moments than a lifetime of just being burdened, being bound by my past. I want to be free. That's all I want. And if you want to be free too, comment I'm free, especially after you forgave yourself and everyone else. All right, talk to you later.